Alright, hello and welcome into the RNGIDP channel. I am Craig and happy to have you here with me for another Game Day 16 ball game in the KL in our 2015 Randomized NUS League here on the RNGIDP channel. Thanks for joining me tonight. As I said, my name is Craig and I'm happy to be with you. I want to first address, that is, my follow-up video from last night's game. So last night it was the Chicago Cubs against San Francisco Giratina, which was a great game. I had fun playing it, and if you haven't watched it yet, I encourage you to do so. We had a little snafu, a snag in the way the game ended, and so as I was going to input the stats for that ball game, I noticed it, and I just immediately, what happened? In 212 game, well, that was the 212th game of this series that I've been doing, and it's the first time I had a big mistake like that, and so I was a little down, but I decided to make a video shortly thereafter where I described what happened. I showed you guys what happened, and I gave you guys a couple of options as far as how to fix it. I felt like I already knew what the answer was, and some of the comments I got from Jerry, and there was another person that commented, I can't remember who that was right now, on that video, were in consensus with what I had previously thought that the answer would be. I also consulted Tenacious Earl. I was talking to him earlier, and he thought the answer was pretty obvious as well, and that all lined up with, again, what I had thought. So I have made that change. I've made it on the score sheet, and I've posted that score sheet over to my Twitter account on RNGIDP_strat. You can go visit that and follow me over there as well. And the stats have been updated and reflected to accompany that change. So you won't see that now, but in the stats I have made that correction. And that's why I'm getting started a little bit later here tonight, if you're watching this live, is because not only I wanted to wait for a day just to see how I felt about what I should do, and so I didn't input any stats, and so that's why we're getting a late start here. So I want to thank you guys for your support. I try and play these games as well as I can, but we all make mistakes, and I made one, and I'm looking forward to rolling again here tonight, and which should be a pretty good game. On paper it looks like a mismatch, but I've been surprised every time I've had one of these games because it's been close. So tonight we will see the Cincinnati Loudreds travel to San Diego to take on the San Diego Metapods. Cincinnati is the worst team in the KL at the midway point, which we just crossed. They are in 15th place, last place, all by themselves, 2 games clear of Philadelphia. Cincinnati has a record of 2-12, a -20 run differential, and they just had snapped an 8-game losing streak with a win in game day 14, but then now they're back into their losing ways after being shut out by the Washington Natu at home in game day 15, 7-0. So they travel now on the road again to San Diego, where they will face a San Diego Metapods team who is 500 right now, 7-7. San Diego lost a close one in their last matchup. It was a 5-4 ball game that San Diego ended up losing, and so they are back to 500 and look to bounce back now. We've got Cincinnati. The pitcher for them will be Colin Mchugh, and San Diego will throw out Trevor Bauer. And with the top of the first looming, let's take a look at Trevor Bauer's numbers. 20.6, or 20 2/3 innings, I should say. A 1-1 record. He's only given up 10 hits. He's allowed 4 earned runs. He struck out 24 batters, which is amongst the league leaders. The league leader has 30, and that's Matt Harvey. But 24 for Bauer, 16 walks though. So he's got to bring that walks down number. That's a 1.75 ERA and a 1.26 whip. So the lineup he'll face for Cincinnati looks a little bit different. Doing some tinkering with Cincinnati just to get some kind of cohesion. Haven't found the right balance with this squad, and so it'll be different tonight. And this is how it will look. Ruben Tejada is going to lead off tonight, supplanting the leadoff hitter who has hit previously, and that was Billy Hamilton. So Cincinnati will line up with Ruben Tejada, the shortstop, leading off, and he is batting .231. These averages are going to be ugly. I'm just going to warn you right outright. This is your disclaimer. These batting averages are going to be ugly. Tejada is hitting .231 with 4 doubles and an RBI. David Freese is the third baseman. He's batting second. Freese is at .265 with 5 doubles and 6 RBI. David Ortiz is the one shining spot in this lineup. Although his average has dropped recently, he's .298 now. At one point, I believe it was 3 or 4 games ago, he was in contention for the batting average title at around 400. So his average has dipped. He does have 9 extra base hits, though. 3 doubles, a triple for the big man, and 5 homers and 11 RBI, which both lead the team. Neil Walker is back in the lineup. He had the day off in the last game to get his bat right. Well, we'll see if that worked, because he's hitting .152 on the season with 2 extra base hits in 7 hits. Blake Swihart is the catcher. There's no backup for Cincinnati tonight because the backup, or I should say the starting catcher, Travis d'Arnaud, is out, and he will be out for a little while. So Blake Swihart is in there, and he's got to hope he doesn't get hurt. Delman Young is going to be in right field. He'll bat 6th. Delman Young has not seen a lot of playing time, but he had a good game in his last game in a spot start, and so he gets another chance. He's 1 for 8. Ichiro is back in the lineup, and Jerry Sands will take a seat. Ichiro, he is hitting .283 with 2 doubles and a homer for the veteran. Colin Mchugh, the pitcher, will hit in the 8th spot, and Billy Hamilton will hit in the 9th spot. Hamilton is hitting .167 right now, and he is buried behind the pitcher. As we start things here, game day 16 continues. We are looking forward to this one, and Jerry Ball is checking in the chat. Welcome into the live stream, Jerry Ball. Happy to have you here again. Happy that you're enjoying this series. So Trevor Bauer is ready to roll here, and he will face the leadoff man of Ruben Tejada. And the first pitch is on the way, and it will be a 3-6. And so the new leadoff man, Tejada, is going to get on base. He draws a walk. Jerry Ball says, "Go Big Papi." I see we have a David Ortiz fan in the house. David Freese now. He's a C hit and runner. Tejada is not a good stealer. He's an E stealer, but he runs decently, a 1-12. So no play on here, and Freese is going to get a swing at the bat, and he's going to keep the bat on his shoulder as he strikes out. That's the first out of the ball game here in the top of the first, and now it is Big Papi David Ortiz up to the plate. 1 out here, man on first. Ortiz just a tick under 300 for his average, and here he will face Trevor Bauer. It's a 1-11, and David Ortiz is going to start off the game with a single out to center field. Tejada, will he go to third here? He's a 1-12 runner. They were not holding him, so that'll be a center field. Who's in center field for San Diego, you ask? Because I didn't give the lineup. Well, that's Chris Young, and he has a +1 arm. So a 1-12 for Tejada, +1 is a 13. They weren't holding him, so it's a 14. So Tejada's going to try and make the advancement to third. A 1-14, and he's there. And Chris Young guns him at third on a nice throw. And Tejada is thrown out on a laser beam by Chris Young, who I think looked a little bit surprised because he didn't know he could throw it that hard. That was not a good roll for him to be able to get him, and he got him. So there's 2 outs, and David Ortiz is at first. And now Neil Walker will be left to pick up the scraps here against Trevor Bauer. And oh no, this one hits him, and it looks ugly. Hits him, and Neil Walker is down. Will he have to come out? It looks like he's going to. Let's just see how bad it is. Neil Walker didn't play in the last game. Was crowding the plate a little bit, and he gets knocked in the noggin. And he's going to be only out for a game. Looked worse than it was. The helmet took most of the damage, but it was loud. And so Walker, he's going to exit, and we're going to need a new second baseman as Neil Walker exits the ball game. So who do we have to play second base? Hanser Alberto or Andres Blanco. We're going to go with Andres Blanco as the new second baseman. He's a switch hitter, and he will pinch run as well as Walker gets the bag. And he will be on for Blake Swihart, due up next, the catcher. 2 outs now. Blanco's stretching, running up and down first base, and looks like he's ready now to roll. And we are as well, so Blake Swihart will be the batter. 2 outs. Trevor Bauer just nailed Neil Walker in the head. And there's runners on first and second. Poppy at second. He's singled. And this will be Swihart, the switch hitting catcher. And he lifts one, a lazy fly ball out to Peterson in left. That'll end the threat here in the top of the first. The book is closed, and we move to the bottom, where we will meet the new pitcher, Colin Mchugh, for Cincinnati, and the lineup that will face him. So Colin Mchugh, big-time starter, has not shown that big-time production so far for San Diego. He's pitched in 20 2/3 innings. Oh, excuse me, that's Trevor Bauer's. I meant Cincinnati. He's pitched in 19 1/3 innings. He's 0-2 on the season. Matched up with the #1 starter on the opposing team most of the time. He's given up 18 hits, 10 earned runs, 19 strikeouts for the big fella, and 10 walks. That's a 4.66 ERA and whip near 1.5. And he will face this lineup for San Diego. San Diego has scored 39 runs, which is not good. That is second worst in all of the KL. The good news for San Diego is that they've only given up 38 runs, which is second best in all of the KL, which is probably why they're 7-7. San Diego is it's an intriguing team because they can't hit, but they can't give up hits, so it's quite fun to use them to see which team is going to show up. It's always a close game is what I'm trying to say. And here's the lineup that San Diego will throw out there. Freddie Galvis is the shortstop. He'll lead off. Freddie Galvis is batting a whole, let's take a look, 193 from the leadoff spot. So that's good. Mike Moustakas is hitting 216 with a pair of doubles and just got his first home run. I think it was the last game. Nelson Cruz is hitting third. Nelson Cruz is the one bright spot in this lineup. 365 for Cruz. Average is dropping, though. And Cruz has 5 home runs and 12 RBI, which is pretty far clear ahead. In fact, let me take a look here. Cruz has 5 home runs. The rest of the whole team has 6. 11 total home runs for San Diego, and Cruz has 5 of them. He's got 12 runs driven in, and the whole rest of the team has 22. Or excuse me, 24. So he's doing his job. Chris Young is behind him, and he'll bat cleanup. Young is at 217 with a couple of home runs. Shane Peterson back in the lineup in the 5th spot. The lefty will be in left field. Shane Peterson's hitting 167. San Diego will pitch in the 7th spot. That'll be Wilson Ramos. I'm sorry, that's Kelly Johnson is in the 6th spot. I skipped a guy. Kelly Johnson's in the 6th spot, hitting 143. No wonder I skipped him. Wilson Ramos is the catcher, hitting 7th. He's hitting 245. Jose Ramirez is taking over for Chris Owings, who's hitting 244. Ramirez, in his limited duty, is 1 for 9, so nothing much better. Trevor Bauer is the pitcher, and he will bat 9th. All right, so that's ugly for San Diego. And the Cards are not that bad, actually. And I've done a lot of tinkering with San Diego's lineup just to try and get any output for them. And as I was making the lineup tonight, I just decided, you know, I have to let the Cards be the Cards. The Cards are decent, and they're going to hit. They just haven't put it all together yet. So I just put together a lineup that I thought included the best statted cards, and we'll see if it works tonight. Jerry Ball saying, sorry, gotta go. Very early day tomorrow. Thanks and take care. Hey, man. Jerry, you don't have to apologize to me. I appreciate you checking in, and you're a very loyal follower of this channel, and I appreciate you. So hats off, and I hope you have a good night. Freddie Galvis leads off here. It's a 2-7, and that's going to be a bouncer to the shortstop, Ruben Tejada, who has no trouble with that one. Throws it across the diamond, and we are good to go here. 1 out in the bottom of the 1st, and we can start rolling. Enough of this jibba-jab. Mike Moustakas, he hits one to first base. That's going to be David Ortiz, and David Ortiz in a league where there's no DH, he has to field his position, and it gets a little dicey with balls down the line like this one. He's a 5 range. He's not even going to get close to it. It's way down the line. And it will be scooped up by the right fielder quickly. And Mike Moustakas has himself a single. So any X chance for Ortiz, and it's not pretty. He's got to make up for it with the bat. And right now, his average is dipping. So there may be a point where we have to pull him. It's a 4-4 for Nelson Cruz. And that's a liner down the other side to third base. That'll be David Freese, seeing if he can make a play now. They're spraying line drives across the diamond here. David Freese isn't all that much better. He's a third base 4 range, so that's going to his E rating. We rolled a 10. He's an E13. We rolled a 10, and so Freese actually comes up with it on a hop. He pops back up, fires it to second, where the new second baseman Blanco grabs it, and on to first, and that'll get him out of the inning with a 5-4-3 double play. And excuse me, Freese, I'm sorry for calling you an average or below average defender, as he just started a nice double play. So we move to the top of the 2nd. No score here, just underway from San Diego. And Trevor Bauer and Colin Mchugh are clean through 1. So the 6, 7, and 8 batters of Young, Ichiro, and Mchugh will be up. Mchugh, the pitcher, in the 8th spot. And Delman Young throws out a single, plops one out into right field. So a leadoff single for Delman Young. Not a lot of team speed other than the guys coming up here for Cincinnati. So Young is going to have to stay put at first, not stealing here. They're not holding him either. And Ichiro, who's a B bunter and a C hit and run, he's going to swing away. It's a 1-10, and a 1-10 is going to be hit over to the second baseman. That is Blanco. Blanco has a little trouble getting it out of his glove. He underhands it to, or excuse me, that's Ramirez. Ramirez has some trouble getting it out of his glove over to Galvis. Galvis makes a throw, but it's not going to get the one-time speedy Ichiro. That's a fielder's choice. So Ichiro trades places with Delman Young. And that's the first out of the top of the second. And now it'll be the pitcher, Colin Mchugh. Mchugh is a D bunter. Ichiro is a B stealer. So let's take a look at the catcher. That's Wilson Ramos, who I don't know that you want to run on him. He's a -4 arm for Ramos. So the infield is going to come in expecting a bunt. Ichiro is not going to try and steal. Although, even though they're not holding him, it'd be a 1-13. With a -4 arm, it'd be a 1-9. So Ramos controlling the running game. And so they're just going to let Mchugh hit here. I don't see any other great options. It's a 3-8, and he swings and misses, and luckily he does. All around there were ground into double plays. So Mchugh strikes out. That's the second strikeout for Trevor Bauer, and the second out here in the second inning. And now it'll be up to Billy Hamilton. So with Hamilton up, they're still not going to hold Ichiro. There's 2 outs. Ichiro is a 13. It's still a -9, or 1-9, so they're not going to steal with Ichiro. And Hamilton is going to get caught looking. So Trevor Bauer, with a man on, a leadoff single by Young. No damage done as he strikes out 2 in the inning, and we are through the top of the second. It's a 0-0 game. Hey, Ken Castro. Hopefully Al's stream finished up and it was a good game. Ted Williams, hopefully he did well. Ken, I appreciate you being here. And so we move to the bottom of the second. Colin Mchugh against Chris Young. The 4, 5, 6 batters of Young, Peterson, and Johnson will be up. It's a 5-5, and Chris Young gets a hold of this one. He's a normal power, so a 1-7, and it'll be homered. And it's not homered. It's going to hit the wall, and it'll be a double, a stand-up double for the leadoff man here in the bottom of the second, Chris Young. And Colin Mchugh gives up a leadoff extra base hit. Shane Peterson is one of those guys that he is way underperforming his card. His on-base percentage is 32%, and I think he's hitting like 150 right now. So Peterson has a chance to drive in a run here, though. And it's a 1-7. He's going to do it. A 1, it'll be a double. A 2, and above, it's a single with 2 stars. And so back-to-back hits, and it's an easy RBI for Shane Peterson as he just plops one out there. And Peterson gives San Diego the lead here in the bottom of the second. It's a 1-0 ball game. Cincinnati, not only have they not been very good, but they've also been very unlucky. All the rolls have seemed to go against him. And now Mchugh with the runner on first. That's Peterson. He's a E-stealer. He's not going anywhere. And Kelly Johnson is up to the plate. And this one is a bouncer to first. Ortiz is going to grab it and go the long way over to Tejada at short. And the relay is not in time. So Peterson's out at second. But Kelly Johnson beats out the throw from Tejada. And he swaps places on the bases with Shane Peterson. So now it'll be Wilson Ramos. Ramos, just his mere presence behind the plate, has controlled the running game. That -4 arm, it's hard to run on him. And here with the stick in his hand, we'll see if he can get the inning roll. And he does. He keeps the stick in his hand, and he draws a walk. So Johnson moves to second on the walk. Ramos at first, and Jose Ramirez, who is taking over for Chris Owings at second. And it may be a permanent status if Jose Ramirez can get any kind of production at the plate. He's a better fielder anyway, so we'll see if we can get him rolling. 1 out. Ramirez at the plate. It's a 2-6, and Ramirez walks. So Mchugh all of a sudden having trouble locating the pitch, and it's back-to-back walks to the 7-8 batters of Ramos and Ramirez. That loads the bags. Johnson moves to third, and Trevor Bauer, the pitcher, could help himself out here with a base hit, would score a run. The infield is back looking for that double play. That would get him out of it. Mchugh with the pitch. It's a 1-9, and Bauer's just going to strike out. Bauer didn't look very interested in swinging the bat. He does once, and he gets the strikeout. The second out here now, and the infield can return to their original positions. Freddie Galvis is 0 for 1 on the day, and he's got the bases loaded here. 1-0 San Diego here in the bottom of the second. The pitch to Galvis, it's a 1-7. It's lifted up to center field. Billy Hamilton's going to track it down and have no problem with it, and that will be the third out. So Galvis leads them loaded, and we move through the second. It's a 2-1 ball game, or excuse me, a 1-0 ball game as we move to the third. Al Red Sox fan checking in. He says, sorry is late. Don't be sorry, my friend. You were finishing up your great stream you're doing. I'm sorry I had to bail on you. Ruben Tejada is the leadoff man for Cincinnati, and here he will lead off in the third against Trevor Bauer. He drew a walk and tried to advance to third on a single by David Ortiz and was gunned out at third by Chris. And so here he is again against Bauer, and he'll single. He singles up the middle, and he's on for the second time tonight. So Tejada at the leadoff spot is doing his job, getting on base. Not a great stealer. David Freese didn't bunt or hit and run last time, and he struck out looking. There's no play on for him again, and this one might be even worse. This is a grounder to second base. The second baseman is Ramirez, who I believe is a 3, but let me double check. He's a 2-range second baseman. So a 218 is going to be a ground ball A. So Ramirez, in Owings' stead, he picks the ball, spins and fires and turns the double play. So Freese hits into the 4-6-3. And he's having a rough go to start here at the plate. So the leadoff single is erased, and now David Ortiz comes to the plate. He singled his first time, and I'll wait for the cheers for Ortiz from the live chat crowd. Jerry Ball was happy to see Big Papi. I'm sure Al Red Sox fan is happy to see him. And here he will face Trevor Bauer. 2 outs, top of the third. The lefty, Ortiz, Bauer doesn't really want anything to do with him, and he issues him a walk. So Ortiz gets the free pass, and probably the wise move for Bauer, because in the first inning, Trevor Bauer, he lost control of one and hit Neil Walker with a fastball in the noggin. And Walker had to come out of the ball game. So this is his replacement, Andres Blanco. Blanco, this is his first at-bat, the switch hitter. With 2 outs here, Big Papi on first. And against the switch hitter, Andres Blanco will strike out. So Bauer, probably not the most popular of moves to walk Papi there, but it is effective. The 4th strikeout of the day for Bauer, and we are through the top of the third. It's a 1-0 ball game. So Colin Mchugh here will face the 2-3-4 batters of Moustakas, Cruz, and Young. Moustakas, he singled his first time up. And the lefty will hit one to third. This defense for Cincinnati is not very good. David Freese is a 4-range third baseman. A 4.13 is going to his E rating, which we've already seen tonight. It's a E13. So an E13, and that's a 7. 13-7 is going to be good enough to make the play. So I called him out in the first inning for not being a great defender, and Freese made a double play, and here he makes another fine play to get Moustakas at first. 1 out, and now Nelson Cruz, who hit into that double play, comes up to the bag, to the dish, and his 370-something average. This is a 5-2, and that's a grounder to second. Andres Blanco will get his first chance to make an X-chance play. And he is a 3-range second baseman. A 3.11 is going to go to his E rating, which is a 20. So a 9 is what we rolled, an E20. And so Blanco is going to be able to make the play. He's out on the outfield grass, and he will fire sidearmed to make the play. So Cruz is down, and Colin Mchugh got the first 2 here to start the bottom of the 4th. And it'll be Chris Young to the dish. Young doubled and scored back in the 2nd inning. Shane Peterson drove him in right after he had got that double. And this time he's going to pop one up. That's going to be behind the plate. Blake Swihart gets out of his crouch, tosses the mask, and will make the grab. So a 1-2-3 inning for Colin Mchugh. And we move to the 4th. It's a 1-0 ball game. San Diego continues to lead here. So Swihart, the man who just made the play behind the plate, will be up first here. Has no backup, as I mentioned earlier in the game. Travis d'Arnaud got injured, and so it's all Swihart all the time. And then Delman Young and Ichiro. But first, Bauer deals with Swihart, and he pops a single up through the middle. So leadoff man is aboard, and that's Blake Swihart for Delman Young. Delman Young singled his last time. He was erased on a fielder's choice from Ichiro, the next man up. But here he is again, and this one is hit to second. That's going to be Ramirez. Ramirez is only going to have one play. Swihart slid into the bag at second, and he made it without a throw. But Young is going to be retired at first. So Young advances the runner. And now Ichiro will be up to the plate. Runner on second, 1 out here. Ichiro is up, and then it'll be the pitcher, Colin Mchugh. Ichiro with a 3-8, and that's a 1-5 single chance. And that's a 12, so he hits it hard, but at the second baseman, Jose Ramirez, and he'll make the snag, and there's 2 away. So now with the pitcher in the 8th spot, this is where it kind of, the strategy breaks down. We got 1 on at second base, and that's Swihart, the number 5 batter in the order. Now with 2 outs, it's the 8th man in the order. That's Colin Mchugh. I guess they could pinch hit for him, but it's still early in the game. And Mchugh, he's going to hit a soft dribbler over to the shortstop, Galvis. Galvis charges on it and throws a seed to first. And Bauer gets out of the 4th inning. No runs given up for Bauer so far through 4 innings, and we move to the bottom of the 4th. This will be Colin Mchugh. Colin Mchugh will face Shane Peterson, Kelly Johnson, and Wilson Ramos. Peterson has the lone guy on the day as he singled in Chris Young. And this one has a chance to be a double. It's hit out to center field, and it's just gonna hang up there. And the center fielder, the speedy center fielder, Billy Hamilton, makes the play. Al Red Sox fan is back, and I'm happy you are back. Kelly Johnson, he bounced into a fielder's choice his last time. This is a 6-9. This one's hit to the shortstop again, who is Tejada. That was a 14. Tejada is a 3-range shortstop. A 3-14 is going to be a ground ball C, so he's able to pick it up and get the man Kelly Johnson at first. 2 away. Wilson Ramos now with nobody out, or excuse me, nobody on. 2 outs here. Ramos walked his first time, and then the next batter walked, but this time Ramos swings and misses. That's a strikeout, the second one on the day for Mchugh. And after giving up a few walks in the second inning and a run, Mchugh now has retired 8 in a row. It's a 1-0 ball game as we move to the top of the 5th. Cincinnati trails San Diego 1-0. So Trevor Bauer now will face Billy Hamilton, who turns into pretty much another leadoff hitter here. Hamilton, Tejada, and Freeze here in the top of the 5th. It's a 2-11, and that one is lifted out to shallow right field. Nelson Cruz tracks it and will grab it. There's 1 away. Ruben Tejada now. A 5-6. And Tejada's going to have a base hit here. A 1-13, and it's a double out to center field, and it is. He plops one in the gap. So Tejada is aboard for the 3rd time. The 2nd hit in a row now for Tejada as he reached on a walk to start the game. So a 1-out double for Ruben Tejada, and now David Freeze, who has struggled at the plate, 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a double play, has a chance here again, and he's going to strike out. David Freeze is struggling. You could say he is frozen at the dish, and it's 2 outs now. But that'll bring up David Ortiz. It's 1-0. San Diego has the lead. Al Red Sox fan is checking on me because of, I assume because of last night, and I'm sure I misspoke. And I thank you for doing so, Al. Don't get me wrong. I need the help in keeping track. After last night, I definitely need you guys to check me on that. Trevor Bauer will face David Ortiz, and will he pitch to him, or will he go and get Blanco? It's 1-0. Trevor Bauer. Ortiz has reached twice, and they're just going to hold up 4 fingers with the base open and put Ortiz on. It's kind of, as a fan and as a somebody watching, I would be frustrated with that. But we'll see if it pans out. Blanco struck out his first time up. He's got a chance now with 2 on, 2 out to do something about it. He steps in from the left-hand side, and oh, he might do something about it. A 1-11, and it's a home run. Oh no, this could be backfire on Bauer. 1-11, it's a homer, and it's an 11. So Andres Blanco, who they intentionally walked Ortiz to get to, drops a 3-run homer on Trevor Bauer and San Diego. And Cincinnati has themselves a lead here. Could it be Cincinnati, the little engine that could, leads 3-1 now here in the top of the 5th. Tejada from second will score. Ortiz from first will score on the home run from Andres Blanco, who doesn't look like he's going to give that spot up back to Neil Walker. He'll start next game. And Blanco with a 3-run shot. 11 on the money, says Castro. Yeah, that was a close one. Ken Castro already predicting that San Diego will come back. You know, you're probably right, but for now, they're celebrating in the dugout. Trevor Bauer, he is not, as he's trying to get one more out to get out of this inning. It's a 1-8, and he's going to get it there. That's going to be a bouncer to Galvis at short, who has no trouble getting that out of his glove to get the catcher. And we are halfway through the fifth. San Diego gives up a 3-run homer after the intentional walk to Ortiz. And Colin Mchugh comes back out for San Diego, or excuse me, for Cincinnati, now with a lead to face the bottom of the order for San Diego. We've seen it before on this channel a few times now that Cincinnati has had a lead and they've blown it. So Ramirez will strike out. He had walked his first time up. That's the third strikeout for Mchugh, who's kind of rolling now. That's 9 in a row sat down for Mchugh. And here's the pitcher. It's Trevor Bauer. He'll continue to hit here. Bauer's day is not done yet. This one is a fly ball to right field. Delman Young is the right fielder, and he's not a great range. He's a 4. We rolled a 19, and so Colin Mchugh has himself a base hit just out of the range of Delman Young. So Bauer is aboard with 1 out. Freddie Galvis is the man at the plate. His third time up. He's 0 for 2 on the day. He's got a man on first. That's the pitcher. And here he will have a 5% chance at a homer. Not a great one. And that's going to be lifted out to left. It's pretty deep, but Ichiro and his good speed is going to make the play. And there's 2 down. Almost hit the Hayes 6th for Ken. And you know what? Actually, with Mike Moustakas up, I wanted to bring this up. As you can see, and not to bring the tempo down of the game, but I don't have a question of the day. I have a dedication for this game. This game is dedicated to my late father-in-law, Vince, who this would be his birthday, and he died last year. So this is the first birthday that we are celebrating without him. And Vince was a great man. He was my partner when it came to playing board games all night sometimes. We would play Risk or Settlers of Catan. He was a big-time Kansas City Royals fan, and one of the great memories of my life will be watching the 2015 series. He was visiting us, and he had stayed here. He had an extended visit to Denver. He lived in Kansas City, and he would come and visit for about 2 weeks at a time, and he would stay with me and my wife and our kids. And this time, though, he stayed for about a month. And so I had bought the MLB package the day before just because I knew he was coming, and I knew he liked to watch the Royals, so I thought I'd surprise him and buy the MLB package. And we watched the Royals every single night while we were playing Settlers of Catan. And then after the Royals game was over, we would watch the Rockies game after that. So we watched pretty much 6 or 7 hours of baseball all throughout the pennant chase. And that was a good time. So this one's dedicated to Vince. And all right, Colin Mchugh out now to face Mike Moustakas here with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 5th. And it's a 2-12, and that's going to be a single. So Moustakas keeps this thing rolling. And Trevor Bauer is only going to go station to station. So Moustakas, after I was talking about my father-in-law Vince, he pulls out a base hit. The Kansas City Royal player. Wasn't a coincidence, I don't think. Nelson Cruz thank you to Ken and Al for the kind words. Appreciate that. Nelson Cruz with 2 on here, 2 outs. Cruz has been their best hitter all year. And it's a 2-8, and not going to get it done this time as David Freese continues to show me up for saying he was not a great defender. And he gets the 3rd out here in the 5th, so it's a 3-1 ball game as we move to the 6th. Trevor Bauer will continue here. It's still a close game, 3-1. Bauer's only given up, what is that, 1, 2, 3, 4, I guess 5 hits through 5 innings. But here he goes. Yeah, Vince was a great man. He was a big-time Kansas City Royals fan. We went out to Kansas City, and even though it was pouring rain one time, it was like around the 4th of July. And we sat out in that cold rain at Kauffman Stadium for pretty much the whole game. It's a 5-8, and Delman Young is aboard for the 2nd time tonight. And that's a walk, leadoff walk for Bauer. Al, Red Sox fan, he caught his 2nd win. He's back with us, not going to bed just yet. Let me look at the bullpen for San Diego because Bauer just walked the leadoff man here in the 6th. I'm not sure how long of a leash he's going to get. We got Carter Capps in the bullpen that's warming up. And if Ichiro reaches, we may just go get him. Ichiro is 0 for 2 on the day. And this is a 1-11. This one is hit to short. And Galvis over to Ramirez. But Ramirez, the ball's in the dirt. And Ichiro's going to beat it out again. So twice now they could have doubled him up. But his speed breaks up the double play. And there's 1 out now. Colin Mchugh is the batter. 1 out. Ichiro at first. Wilson Ramos is the catcher. I have to keep telling myself so I don't just go ahead and steal. And, oh no, Mchugh hits one to Galvis. Galvis is going to have another chance at this one to turn it. Over to Ramirez, and Ramirez with a better throw this time. It's a 6-4-3 double play. And Ichiro's erased at 2nd. And Bauer finds himself out of the 6th inning. As we move to the bottom half, it's a 3-1 ball game. And Colin Mchugh will come back out here to face the heart of the order. Chris Young's Scott Peterson. I keep calling him Scott Peterson. Who is Scott Peterson? Why do I have that name on my head? Wasn't he a criminal of sorts? I work in the news media, and for some reason Scott Peterson, that name is familiar to me, and so I keep calling Shane Peterson Scott Peterson. Chris Young, Shane Peterson, and Kelly Johnson are due up against Colin Mchugh here. Young is 1 for 2, and it's a 5-8. That's a second base X chance. Blanco has been busy since he's come in here for the somewhat concussed Neil Walker. Blanco is a 3 range second baseman, a 3-13. He's going to get down and dirty and makes the diving grab and pops back up to make the play. So Young is retired from a nice play from Blanco. The extended range. Scott Peterson killed his wife? That's vaguely familiar. You know, the stories, they come and they go working in the 24-hour news cycle, so maybe that's why his name was on my head. Scott Peterson, huh? You guys had it right off the bat, so salute to you guys. You guys are awesome. Shane Peterson, not to be confused with the wife killer, Scott Peterson. It's a 6-5, and he swings and misses. Not as proficient with the club in his hand is Shane Peterson. And that is the 4th strikeout. Yeah, Ken, I do in the media. Kelly Johnson is 0 for 2. And 2 outs now, quickly, for Colin Mchugh here in the bottom of the 6th. And this will be another one as Mchugh snags the ball as it's hit right to him. And he's going to underhand it over to first. It's a 3-1 put out. And this is through the 6th inning. A 3-1 ball game as we continue here. Trevor Bauer makes his way back out, and this may be it for him. He is due up third in the next inning in the 7th, so any trouble here, Carter Capps is ready. So it'll be Billy Hamilton, who's 0 for 2 against Bauer. It's a 3-6, and Billy Hamilton thought he had himself a hit, but he pops it up over to the shortstop, Freddie Galvis, and there will be 1 away. Ruben Tejada, who's had a good game, three times on base, 2 hits and a walk. He doubled and scored his last time up against Trevor Bauer. And it looks like he may get another hit here, and that is a single through the middle. And Trevor Bauer has seen about enough of Ruben Tejada today. He's reached 4 times, 3 hits against him. Ken did 12 years with AP as a stringer and many years as a sports writer. Last 14 as a freelance. Hey, that's cool. I actually work for a cluster that has 5 radio stations, and one of them is a news talk. So we use AP all the time. David Freese is the batter, and he's had himself a day to forget, I should say. This one is a 4-5, and there's another strikeout for Freese. That is 3 of them on the day, and a ground into double play. So, not a day you want to write home to mama about for David Freese. He is ice cold at the plate. And now, David Ortiz is up. Ortiz has singled and walked twice. Last time he was up, he was intentionally walked, and then Andres Bronco hit a 3-run shot. This time it's oh no, he's going to do it himself this time. That one is gone. Adios, senor pelota. Home run out to center field. Big Papi with the big pop here to extend Cincinnati's lead to 4-1. Ortiz gets himself an RBI. And is gone. So Trevor Bauer now. And I think before this one gets any more out of hand, they may go get Trevor Bauer. Let's see who we could double switch if we do. We could go get... Is there any first baseman in here? Our options are Chris Owings, Aramis Ramirez. I guess we could do Ramirez. That's what we're going to do. So we're going to double switch. Aramis Ramirez will take over for Kelly Johnson at first base. That'll be the pitcher spot now. And Trevor Bauer will come out of the game, and Ramirez will bat third. If you don't know what's going on here with the double switch, I just watched Tenacious Earl's video tonight, and it was all about double switches. So go take a look at that if you have any questions, or you can put them here in the chat. I assume you guys know, if you're watching a Strat baseball channel, you probably know what a double switch is. Ramirez will bat third. Trevor Bauer, his day is done, and we will go get... Who did I say it was? Carter Capps. They might just win this one. Al Red Sox fan believes. Would I say he's cheering for Cincinnati? I don't know. Are you cheering for Cincinnati, Al Red Sox fan? They do have Papi on the team, so probably, huh? Carter Capps comes in. Trevor Bauer, he went 6 2/3. He gave up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hits. 4 runs, all of them earned. 2 big home runs from Andres Blanco and David Ortiz. Struck out 6 and 1, 2, 3, 4 batters. So Bauer's day is done, and now it's Blanco. John Farrell didn't know how. That's funny. Blanco with 2 outs here. He homered his last time, and he gets a hold of this one out the left. Peterson, though, is going to have room out in the left field. He's at the track, and he makes the play. So Blanco gave it a ride there. He's filled in well for the injured Walker. And we are in the stretch, the middle of the 7th inning. It's a 4-1 ball game. And Colin Mchugh will make his way back out there at the old ball game. That's for Mike McAllister. Ramos, Ramirez, and Ramirez. So back-to-back Ramirez is to face Mchugh. And Ramos is 0 for 1 on the day with a strikeout and a walk. And this will be bounced to shortstop Tejada, who's having himself a red-hot game. We'll throw it across, and that's the first out. So the Ramirez boys are up next. Jose first and Aramis next. Jose is 0 for 1 with a walk. And this one is lifted out to left. Ichiro not going to have trouble finding that one. And there's 2 down. And it will now be the new first baseman, Aramis Ramirez. It's a 4-2, and that one is hit to first base. And David Ortiz is the first baseman, so this should be fun. Ortiz, I know he's a 5 range first baseman, so let's see how bad this is. Oh, 5-17. That's going to be hit down the line, and that's a double. Ortiz gave a token effort, but you could tell he really didn't want to get down for that ball. And so Ramirez has himself a double. Any other first baseman in, that probably wouldn't have been a hit. But Ortiz has proved his worth today with 2 hits, a homer, 2 walks, and an RBI. So they give him a pass on those kind of things. And here it'll be Freddie Galvis, who's 0 for 3 on the day. Galvis has been struggling, but San Diego really doesn't have many other options, so they're going to let him hit. 0 for 3 is Galvis today. Looking for his first base knock, and this might. He's got a 5% chance to get a home run here. A 1, and it'll be a homer. That's a 5, so it's hit out to Ichiro and left. And Galvis will be 0 for 4 on the day. The runner is stranded on second. And we move to the 8th. It's still 4-1. Cincinnati feeling pretty good. They're feeling close to winning this one. Can they do it? They've only got 2 wins on the season, and one of them came in game day 14. We're in game day 16. So if Cincinnati wins, you could say they've won 2 out of their last 3. So Carter Capps, who came into the game in the last inning, he will continue here. He'll face Swihart, Young, and maybe Ichiro. It's a 6-6, and Capps gets the strikeout of Swihart. Caught him looking on a ball on the outside part of the plate. And there's 1 out. Delman Young has been on twice. He's singled in the 2nd, and he's walked. And here you'll face Capps. This is a 5-8. That's a ground ball second base X chance. The second baseman is Jose Ramirez, who is a 2 range, a 2-8. And that's going to go to his E rating, which is an 11. We rolled a 6. So Ramirez has to make a dive, and he will come up with it. And from a knee, will make the toss across. And he gets his man, Young, at first. So now it'll be Ichiro. Ichiro is 0 for 3. He's stayed out of 2 double plays with his wheels. Now nobody's on base, and Carter Capps is the man to pitch to him. And he gets Ichiro caught looking. Carter Capps doing his job here. He's retired the 4 batters he's faced, and he is through the 8th here. It's a 4-1 ball game. Colin Mchugh, will he continue? Let's take a look at the Cincinnati bullpen. Their closer is Frankie Rodriguez, K-Rod. They also have Kelvin Herrera in the pen, and so they may him. Mike Moustakas is the man at the plate. Moustakas singled his last time up. He's 2 for 3 today. Mchugh will continue here, though. He's first up to bat next inning, but they may not need it. We'll see. It's a 2-4, and that one is bounced over to the shortstop, Tejada, and there would be 1 out. Nelson Cruz now. Cruz 0 for 3 today. He hasn't had many of those days. And this is a 1-5, and this one is up and away. Nelson Cruz sends that one out to center field, and it is gone. Cruz with a homer. And he continues to show those power numbers. He leads in homers and RBI for this team. And so now they will go get Mchugh. And they will bring in Kelvin Herrera. It's going to be a double switch. Let's see. They are going to go get Delman Young is going to be the man to be sacrificed. Cole Gillespie will come in, and he'll be the new right fielder. So Delman Young's spot, the 6th spot, will be the pitcher's spot. The 8th spot, which was the pitcher, will now be the righty, Cole Gillespie. He takes over in right field, and we are ready here for the new pitcher. That is Kelvin Herrera. Mchugh, he went 7 1/3. Gave up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hits, 2 runs. Both of them were earned. He struck out 4. And he walked 1, 2 is all, 2 batters. So Kelvin Herrera takes over for Chris Young. Will face Chris Young here in the bottom of the 8th. And I just dropped a die. Where did that go? Okay. Herrera to Young. We are ready to keep rolling here. It's a 6-8, and that one is bounced to shortstop. Tejada has it and throws it across. There's 2 away. Shane Peterson. Cincinnati is now 4 outs away. The lefty Peterson is 1 for 3. Shane, don't call me Scott Peterson. And this is a 1-2 home run chance. Peterson's weak, so it'd be a single. But it's not going to matter anyway, as he's got warning track power. And the new right fielder, Gillespie, tracks the ball down. And that's the 3rd out. So we are through 8. Cincinnati, 3 outs away from another victory. And with a 4-1 ball game. Oops. Carter Capps will not face them. He's done his work. And they will go to the bullpen and get out Jason Grilly. All the former Royals in this one. Jason Grilly will face Gillespie, Hamilton, and Tejada. So Grilly comes on, and Capps, he did his job really well. He kept it close. He went 1 1/3. No hits, no runs. Struck out 2 and didn't walk anybody. But Jason Grilly takes over. And Grilly to Gilly. It's a 2-6. And Gilly is struck out by Grilly here in the 9th. 1 out. Grilly with his first strikeout as the first batter of the game. And Billy Hamilton will look to get aboard here. It's a 2-9, and this one is lifted weakly out to left field. Shane, don't call me Scott Peterson. He makes the play. And Ruben Tejada now with 2 outs. He's been aboard 4 times, 3 hits, and a run scored. Tejada with a different pitcher. Will it be a different result? Oh, no, maybe not. Tejada with a ballpark home run chance here. It's a 1-3. It's going to be lifted out to left and deep. But Peterson is going to track it down. And that is the 3rd out here in the top of the 9th. So we move to the bottom half. Cincinnati looking to close this thing out. San Diego down to their final 3 outs. And they will go to their closer. And that is K-Rod, Francisco Rodriguez. So Herrera pitched a clean 2 outs that he also only needed to get McHugh out of the inning. Didn't give up anything. And now it'll go to K-Rod. Here in the 2015 set, he's not quite the K-Rod that we're used to. But he'll face Johnson. Actually, he won't face Johnson. That's the pitcher spot. He'll face... Who's got the best on-base percentage here? It'll be Juan Uribe. Just trying to get some men on here. So Juan Uribe will pinch hit. Here in the 9th inning. So Uribe against Francisco Rodriguez. It's a 5-2. That's a second base X chance. Blanco with another chance here. Blanco. He is a... You would think I'd know by now. It's a 3 range. 3-5 is going to be an out. Blanco on the edge of his range. He extends, reaches the glove down, picks it up. And he sidearms one to get Juan Uribe at first. Be thinking of your player of the game nominees. There's a few good nominees here that could be had for Cincinnati. We'll see if they can close this out. They're down to 2 outs. 2 outs left, San Diego. And it'll be Wilson Ramos. It's a 5-6. And Ramos gets caught looking. That is strikeout number 1 for Rodriguez, for K-Rod. And they're down to their final out, and it's Jose Ramirez. 0 for 2 on the day. He struck out and walked. Ramirez to face K-Rod. It's a 6-8, and it's hit out to left field. Ichiro, though, is going to have a read on it. He takes a few steps, and this one is over. Cincinnati with the victory. Skyline chili for everybody as they win a ball game here on the road to beat San Diego in a close one, which all San Diego does is play close games. 4-1. That was a fun one, you guys. Ken Castro can't believe what he just saw. Congrats to Cincinnati. Al Red Sox fan says, let's go Cincinnati. Let's go Cincy. Well, they did it. They earned their 3rd victory on the season. And I'm going to bring this closer to you guys so you can see it a little better for the nomination of Player of the Game. Who do you guys think was the Player of the Game for the Cincinnati Loudreds? Who this is their World Series right here. Al Red Sox fan says Cincinnati wins. Cincinnati wins. You've got a couple of good nominees. Ruben Tejada was 3 for 4. David Ortiz 2 for 2 with a homer. Andres Blanco in relief was 1 for 3, but he had a big 3-run shot. Mchugh, he started off shaky, but he went 7 1/3 to get the win. Anybody else that you can think of? Castro and Ortiz, it says Poppy. Al Red Sox fan says Ortiz. You guys are homers, though. I can't trust you guys when Ortiz is out here. As much as I want to give it to Ortiz, I want to give it to Blanco. He had the big 3-run shot, and so Blanco is the player of the game. I'm giving it to him. The fan vote has been overridden. Andres Blanco was slapped in the face by the intentional walk from David Ortiz, and he came up with a 3-run homer, which gave Cincinnati the lead back in the 5th, and they would never relinquish it, adding another insurance run to make it 4-1. So Mchugh gets the win. K-Rod gets the save. The loss will go to Trevor Bauer, who didn't pitch that bad, really. He went 6 2/3, gave up 4 runs. But he is the loser in this one. Shenanigans, Al. Andres Blanco, the player of the game after not starting it. He comes on in relief of Neil Walker and gets the big homer. But I want to say thank you to Al and Ken for coming here and watching. Jerry Ball was here earlier, but he had to scoot. And thank you guys for the support. I know yesterday I had a screw up, and I put my video out there telling you about it. And you guys have come back and supported me, and for that I'm much appreciative. So I give you a thumbs up. If you are so inclined and you like this video, before you get out of here, leave me one too. And I thank you for doing so. But that'll do it for me here. Follow me on Twitter at RNGIDP_Strat. Al Red Sox fan's going to hit the hay. So am I. Ken Castro's probably got a few more hours of YouTube watching to do. But that'll do it for me here. This has been a fun one. Cincinnati takes the win 4-1. Our next game will be my Colorado Reggie Rock with Corey Kluber on the mound, taking on Hammer and Hank Conger, and the St. Louis Carbink with Jake Arrieta on the mound. So that one should be good. Hopefully I can get that one in tomorrow night. But until then, thank you for watching, and good night.